Waiting on a tax return? Hopefully it ends up in your hands. Fraudulent tax returns due to identity theft increased by 30% in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Our U.S.-based restoration specialists are experts dedicated to helping solve your identity theft issues. And all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. So we'll reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. Help protect your information this tax season with LifeLock. Save up to 25% your first year at LifeLock.com/aware.
And now, Hangar 56 Media presents Spike's Car Radio, a downloadable cars and coffee, hosted by writer, comedian, and automotive enthusiast Spike Ferriston. Now, here's Spike.
Yeah. We gon' rock a little something like this. 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 I don't wanna ill, I just wanna chill and keep my hand around $100 bill. I don't wanna ill, I just wanna chill and keep my hand around
really.
Check it out.
Listen to that. Large Professor, I just want to chill. Large Professor, also known as William Paul Mitchell, better known by the stage name Large Professor. Remember Main Source? He was part of Main Source. And I've been listening to a lot of these. I guess they could be considered deep cuts of 90s hip-hop. Good driving music. Good GTA style, unglossed GTA music with the little Spotify button. You find a great old song and then you know, UMCs, and then you hit UMC, this little radio thing. It's on CarPlay now. It's the lower right-hand side, and it starts playing songs like it. And then you get connected to Large Professor.
You're a hard man driving down San Vicente.
You're listening to Lard Ass Professor and Jonny Lieberman.
Hey.
Gentlemen.
Wow.
We're finally back together.
Yes.
In a threefer.
It's been weeks.
After weeks of twofers. And we're excited to do a show for you.
We are.
Good. Got to start off by saying dodged a major bullet. In our bet, not to get.
Maybe you haven't.
You could be
Don't
right.
Speak too soon. It's Friday. Tomorrow's Friday the 13th. You fool.
I'm ready for it. But I did a show recently. I'm not going to say with who, but I did a show. Was on a show. What?
I didn't say anything.
I think the person you did the show with has announced it on. I think it's public.
It is.
I mean, let me double check. But yeah,
I'm not sure. I know. I'm bound by HIPAA.
Farrah.
You're not a doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Fegaline. Cough in my balls.
Oh, all right, come on.
More.
We're just starting off.
I love it.
Yeah, last week's show. So, an hour and 8 minutes.
In his studio.
In his studio, no air, just he and I, directly across from him. And then he calls me 2 days ago and said, yeah, we had it. I didn't know. I'm very sorry. He was very upset. I had to calm him down. I said, it's going to be okay. But here I am now, 6 days later, nothing.
It's as if he was designed for the maximum aerosol spray.
I'm looking at his
the size of his mouth, the volume of his words.
He hasn't announced it. But I was there, and it happened to me.
Well,
as
we're
well.
sorry. I'm teasing.
Yeah, we don't want to.
I went through COVID. I don't want him to be sick.
I'm looking at. But
I do have $1,000.
Wait. Hold on.
They're doing a show, and obviously they're not in the same room. And then everyone in the comments is like, who I assume listen to the show is like, wishing you all the best for a quick and full recovery. Damn.
There you go.
So and so got it.
Okay.
Get well soon.
So the lid's off.
Okay,
Get well soon, Matt.
Okay, let's just back up. So I guess Hannah got it. They were at about 6 or 7 concerts. I just assumed Matt was safe, and he assumed he was safe, but he had it. And as we do a show, everything's fine. You know, we have a great show. I really liked hanging out with Matt and doing the show, and I was happy I went over there. As we're leaving, we were looking at the Lucid in the parking lot, and he waves goodbye, and I saw the red raccoon eyes. I'm not lying. And I looked at it, and the red glassy eyes, and I squinted, and I'm like, oh, I didn't notice those in the studio, but I'd seen them once before with that doctor. And then sure enough, red raccoony eyes, the first sign that he was getting it, and he had it. And the folks, obviously where I'm working, we have a high degree of protection going on. So I'm only trying to do shows with the 4 core guys with these 2 first shows. They were not happy to hear that this stupid podcast potentially put them in jeopardy, but been testing every day, and I'm fine.
A multi-million-dollar feature is hanging on a thread, suspended from Matt Farah's mucus.
But maybe you are immune, because it seems to be there are people that are immune.
See, again, this is about the bet. I'm not going to go that far because I think it's a harebrained theory. However, thanks to you, Johnny, that story you told. Remember, all the folks in the house got it, except the 2 people who had just got boosted.
Well, they got it, but they had nothing.
They had
like a headache for an hour. I was laid up for 10 days.
Well, that's why I got a booster 3 weeks ago.
The
my second booster. Yeah.
Good.
So, who knows?
Who knows?
And you're right. It's 6 days now. Who knows, Zuckerman? Maybe in 6 more days I'll have it, and maybe I'm speaking too soon. But I got to tell you, I feel great.
Okay. And I'll feel great when I get $1,000.
I don't know that you're going to get it.
I get $1.
Now, the gene theory is, my gene theory has been half because my mom got it. So my mom has it now. So she's one half of the person that made me. So if I were protected by some sort of special COVID-killing gene, it would have been my dad's fats, and I can't imagine he had anything good going on in him.
And his genetic cesspool.
And my mom listens to the podcast now, so we're just joking, Mom.
We're only joking.
But my mom got over it quite quick as well. She, she was 2 or 3 days, and she's a much older woman at this point, and she blew through it. Hopefully, knock on wood, that she's okay.
It hits everybody different. Like that batch of people, we all got it. Everybody had totally random symptoms.
But I'm just talking about the bet. This is only about the bet.
Yeah.
It's a deadly disease, and we don't want anybody to get it. And it's scary.
We need more life-threatening bets.
I think it's gallows humor at this point,
definitely.
right?
Oh, yeah.
No, it does feel like when I was chatting with Matt about it, he was saying what I was thinking, which was it just seems like right now, these last few weeks, it's bigger than it's ever been. I have not heard so many people they're just going down all over the place.
Well, and I was just in Miami, and I didn't do this, but the people that were going out to clubs that came to for the F1 race, they all got it now. Everyone, that was it wasn't the race, but it was the clubbing at the race.
Yeah, no, I know. I watched all the social media. I was looking at it going, everybody is mugging for the camera and hugging each other. There's going to be a huge...
Not a mass, not a thought about
We're over it. We declared victory and we've moved on. Because there's Ukraine, there's inflation, there's so many other things. There's Roe versus Wade. We can't...
Well, this is getting a little more philosophical than I wanted to, but I'll indulge it for a few minutes. Is this just old manism, or does it feel like the threads or the fibers of society are just falling apart at this point?
Both. But,
I know we're old guys talking about it, and traditionally, it's an old man tradition to go, this world is falling apart. But it does kind of feel that way right now.
And it is certainly not a shining moment in the history of man or the history of our country or the history of what's going on in the past, say, 40 years. This is a bad...
But you could look back in history and see the great pandemic of 1918 and Spanish fever.
But we've been spoiled for a long time. We've had it really good. I
don't feel spoiled right now.
For a while. And so we haven't taken any punches to the face in the past.
Kobe dying was a punch to the face. I'm not even a Kobe fan, but that was kind of the beginning of just...
That's Lindbergh's baby, big deal. But it's not affecting...
Wait, what?
That's a sensational thing.
But that was a ladder and a guy stealing a kid.
Yes, and it affected...
What does Kobe have to do with Lindbergh's baby?
You're attaching... You're latching onto the grief, I think, is what Paul's trying to say. Lindbergh's baby...
I was shocked.
Okay, shock to Lindbergh's baby, but it doesn't affect. It's not a war. between a superpower or supposed superpower in a neighboring country. It's not inflation that's eating up the average person's salary. It's not,
But doesn't it feel like the basic fibers of
yes,
society?
Yes, that's what I'm getting.
Justice.
Kobe's not the basic fiber of society.
Yes, he was. He was the Lakers.
Okay.
But I would just say... I would
and
say
helicopter travel all wrapped in one.
But I would just say, like, 1 million people... Today, they announced 1 million people in the U.S. have died of COVID, and nobody cares.
I care. I do care.
I care, but...
I care about that.
We've structured our society
it's
in such
shocking.
a way.
It's a shocking stat.
But like I was at this F1 race, and like that stat was on no one's mind. You know what I mean? Like, and it was, if you read the paper, it's like, we're going to hit.
Well, I think that's because these days, and I mean, recently, the last few months, we don't think about dying. We know people who get it, like my mom, and then get better in 3 days. It's a different situation.
The numbers are much lower. There's a segment of people that want to believe that any mortality relates to other health issues for which that person is responsible for, like being overweight, diabetes, asthma. But there's another segment like us, maybe, who have been vaccinated, who are scared of it. But I think we're sick of living with masks. You want to go back?
I really love the mask, I got to tell you.
Why don't you wear
know
a
what I
burqa?
really love it is when I go into the restroom and I don't have to smell what's around.
No, that's a
I
good
also
point.
love, like I've said, saying things under the mask to people as I walk by them and they don't know where it comes from. I enjoy that. I enjoy hiding my double chin behind the mask. I really like that. I like
you can just grow a
anonymity.
beard. Beard will take care of the double chin.
I like anonymity. Walking around. No one's going to know, so I don't really have to. I had a funny moment at the cigar shop.
I told you, wear a burqa.
We had to go get some more cigars, and I was really in an old man state. I had dirty sweatpants on, slippers, a dirty food-stained shirt,
stains.
and a cap, and I wanted to race to the cigar store, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I said, don't do this to yourself, Spike. Don't go out like this. And then I said, don't be insecure. Nobody knows who you. Nobody cares.
Take your skid pads.
Just go out. Just go out and live
you
your
put
life.
the mask on.
No mask.
Oh.
And I walked into the cigar store and he goes, hey, Spike. The guy right away. I love your talking watches. And I went, thank you. As I looked at myself, a shambling homeless man.
You just reminded me. I got to tell you guys this story. You're gonna love this story.
You do? Do you really?
I got it.
When
When
he says that line, I got to tell you a story.
It involves the show. It's a show story.
Is it a watch story? Because I was going to read a Bob's Watches story.
It's not a watch story.
Can I do my watch sponsor first?
You're gonna love this one.
All right, go ahead.
Okay,
give it to me.
I went to an event. It was on the roof of an art gallery in Miami.
Yep.
And this guy, I shake this guy's hand. He goes, hey, he goes, you look like a thinner, younger Jonny Lieberman.
Oh my God.
And I was
that's
like,
good news.
I was like, that's funny. And then I said that, he goes, you sound like him. I'm like, I am Jonny Lieberman. He's like, yeah, right. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, hey, I really am Jonny Lieberman. He's like, oh my God, you are. And he's like, Zuckerman's my idol. I'm a Jewish lawyer from Brooklyn. I'm like, well, he's from Long Island. And anyways, this guy's name's Howie. Hello, Howie. Howie Baker.
I'm going to love that.
I appreciate it, but was that really a story we needed to hear?
Yeah, why do we love that story?
Well, you're going to love this story. Whenever he
You didn't
says,
like that story. You look like a thinner, younger Jonny Lieberman, and the guy doesn't believe me that I'm Jonny Lieberman.
Something you tell your wife.
No.
You fucking assholes. I hate you.
Let's talk about Bob's Watches.
So nice to me for a week. It's
Discover Bob's Watches, the most trusted destination to buy or sell 100% authentic, luxury, pre-owned watches. Shop vintage and contemporary pieces from Rolex, Tudor, Omega, Breitling, Cartier, Patek, and more. Explore thousands of models available now at bobswatches.com. Overnight delivery and free shipping included. Trust Bob's. Yours truly has bought vintage Rolex GMTs and then sold them, made money with Bob's. I've purchased Daytonas from them and returned them and made a little bit of money. It's a nice situation. I like the gang down at Bob's. They're sending me now I was wearing that white Daytona 116500, which I take out repeatedly. I just send it back and then have them send it to me. And now I have a Panerai coming with a carbon dial.
nice.
It's
I like
sweet.
Panerai.
It's fun.
Yeah. I also like Panerai
and they,
because
I tried to get a Seiko, Grand Seiko from them. I said, look, I really would like, the listeners and Jonny Lee, but they're all giving me hell about Seikos. I'll try them out. I want to keep an open mind. I want to wear one. And I picked out one. They said, you can't have that.
Why not?
I guess I have a reputation for scratching them up a little bit because I use them. And they said those are especially hard. They would do it, but they said it's especially hard to polish them. Have you heard that? The Grand Seiko?
I have not heard that.
And they said, why don't you take the Rolex instead? And then, of course, they have me because I love Rolexes and they give me something.
It must just be a different blend of steel or something.
But they have a Grand Seiko with a blue dial.
Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful, with a blue and white bezel that I really want to try out.
Yeah.
So maybe if those they're listening,
gorgeous watches.
Go to Bob's
because
Watches.
my good friend Ariel, who's listening in Hawaii, wants you to wear a Seiko.
I would wear them, but it's nothing against Seiko. You can't like everything. I have Casios.
Hey,
it's like, but I don't own a Lexus either. I like them. I think they're cool, but I don't vibe with the brand. But
I slept on Seikos. I was a G-Shock. I don't care about Seikos. I don't care. And then my buddy showed me one of these tunas and let me put it on. And it was just it fried my brain. I was like, have to have it. So
refried.
And I ignored them. Refried.
I'll have a portion of refried.
You look like a morbidly obese Jonny Lieberman.
Old and decrepit.
That's how the story would have been better.
Yes.
You look like an old and brain dead.
I thought it was really
morbidly obese Jonny Lieberman.
The guy just wouldn't believe. He's like, you sound like. I'm like, I am him. He's like, oh yeah, bullshit.
Well,
it
is
and
interesting.
This is a smart lawyer.
This is interesting.
I don't know, I wouldn't say that.
It's interesting when someone's sound recognizes you. That's a new thing for podcasting. When they hear your voice and they go, "Oh, I recognize your voice."
Get that.
I get that, but again, they believe it's me. This guy's looking at me.
Well,
saying,
why would you be in Miami
for the F1 race at a car? I was at a car show.
Well, tell us about that. Let's talk about something interesting. What was it like? I'd honestly like to know.
It was incredible. I will say this.
There was a lot.
Yeah,
there was a lot of excitement here, and it seemed like a lot of celebrities and a lot of car celebrities were going there.
Yeah,
and it seemed like one party after another, and
it was nothing but parties at my hotel.
Right.
Explain why there's so much hype now.
Well, it's a Netflix show has made it popular. Show, right. What is it? Need for Speed, Drive to Survive. Drive to Survive has made it super popular. Mm-hmm. But however, I've been to the race in Texas, and it was like you go to Austin and you go to the race, and then after the race you eat barbecue and go to bed, and the next day you eat barbecue and go to bed. It's not a big deal. Miami, though, you couldn't walk 2 feet without a Verstappen hat for sale, signs like, Miami welcomes F1, and everyone was just so excited about the race. And it was really like Miami's coming out party. And, it was like, we're in, this decade for the first time, we're an international city.
Right.
It was just, the vibe was incredible.
So yachts, hotels.
It was hotels. Well,
parties, cocaine.
Hookers. Yeah.
Hookers. It was a nonstop party. Here, maybe I'm wrong about it, but it looked like any other race where if you were there, you couldn't really see the cars going around the track. Part of my problem with the Long Beach Grand Prix, which I like, is you can't really see the track or the cars. You're looking at the tops of cars.
Yeah, it's always better on TV.
Right.
But it was cool. Even the fake marina, which the internet freaked out about.
Right.
It was beautiful. I got a lap around the track in a Vantage, and it looked gorgeous. It's a color blue that doesn't exist in nature. Totally photographs well on TV. It's the Miami Dolphins blue. It's just this,
right.
And it was like this gel thing. And we asked, why didn't you actually put in water? And they said, well, we did a, environmental impact study, and it would have been so heavy, it would have sank. Whatever we put it in would have sank through the, the drenched ground. So we couldn't do that. So they put these yachts, and people bought tickets on the yachts, and it was fine. But it was a super cool race. The track was cool.
Doesn't exist in nature. I'm hung up on that.
It's just this
it doesn't make
weird
sense.
here it is.
Blue. Here it is. It's existing.
We did our research.
You couldn't get water that color blue. You know what I mean?
Why not? They did.
You'd have to dye it. It was really blue. It was like shimmering Miami Dolphins.
They were hyping it
blue.
But it was beautiful, and it was
great.
fun.
It was super cool.
And this was the very first time Formula One was in Miami.
Yes, they've had Miami Grand Prix, but it wasn't Formula One. It was some other race.
Right.
But yeah, it was super cool. The only problems I heard of was, it was 91 degrees and full humidity, no shade. So I was in air conditioning. I didn't care, but the poor suckers, they were suffering. And then one of the grandstands ran out of water or something like that. But aside from that,
people dying of thirst.
Yeah, it was people dying, but it's an F1 race. No, it was cool.
What's the difference between F1 and Grand Prix?
Oh boy.
I guess technically you could have a Grand Prix without F1 cars. You could have a different type of car in the Grand Prix, but F1 is the Formula One car.
So who was there for manufacturers? Like you were with Aston Martin.
I was with Aston Martin. Yeah, usual suspects: McLaren, Mercedes, Alfa Romeo, Aston, other manufacturers. There might be one other that races, and teams like AlphaTauri. There's only 10 teams.
Right.
Haas. So I think 5 are manufacturers, but Porsche and Audi I think are going next year. They're trying to add an 11th team, and Andretti's trying to get his team in.
Wow.
Legally or whatever the rules, they could add up to 12 teams. But more cars on the grid, more accidents, more competition. So it's gangbusters right now. You know what I mean? Like I think the cheapest tickets were like $600. A lot of them were $5,000, and it was sold out. And it was
that show is driving all of it.
Yeah, and
I heard about this group of moms who were headed down there. Like, why are you going? They go, we're going to the race. They knew all about it.
And, when America does something and America's into it, like, we do it bigger than anybody. The Super Bowl is, like, in Sandy. But, like, Michelle Obama was there. The Williams sisters were there. Michael Jordan showed up.
Really?
I was sat next to Marcus Allen and Edwin Moses on the plane ride down there. James Marsden was there.
James Marsden.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hanging with David Beckham, doing IWC stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, Tom Brady was there.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fun week.
And if you get a chance, if you really want to laugh, the Martin Brundle interview disaster, I don't know if you heard about this, but so he goes, he walks the grid before the race and tries to interview celebrities. Nobody knew who he was. Like, he's trying to talk to, I think it was Serena Williams, and she kind of brushes him off, and he's still following her with the mic, and she literally says, "Oh, you're still trying to talk to me?" And then, like, he goes up to some tall, it was like an NBA draft pick. He thought he was Patrick Mahomes. It was like the worst thing you've ever seen. And he's just like, "You're not who I thought you were." Like, Beckham wouldn't give him the time of day. Like, nobody would talk. It was an utter disaster. It was hysterical. So watch that. It's on YouTube somewhere. It was fantastic.
I can pull it up right now if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
But I'm in fear that's not going to be funny.
It's funny. We were pissing ourselves.
I'm playing it. Okay, here we go.
Patrick. Martin Brundle, Formula One television in England. Yeah, I don't think you can hear me up there. Patrick,
he's chasing him.
How are you? Good to see you on the grid here. What do you think of this atmosphere?
This is crazy. I've never been to an F1 race. This is spectacular.
It's amazing to be allowed right in the middle of the competitors just before the race starts.
Yeah, now you can see they locked in. It reminds me of myself. But the real focus.
Okay, it's not Patrick. That's why he ignored me in the beginning. But what is your name, sir?
Paulo Banchero.
Right, okay. Well, I thought I was talking to somebody else. So I'm sorry about that.
There you go.
We were pissing ourselves watching
Patrick Mahomes. No, my name is Carlos. Okay. Well, there.
That's the best.
That's good.
Yeah.
We had a lot to talk about, but first let's talk about Manscaped. Well, are you ready to be blown away? You asked for it and they listened. Our friends at Manscaped just relaunched the Ultra Smooth Package. It's back, baby, your new favorite tool and complement to the Lawnmower 4.0 to keep your boys smooth while looking and feeling their best. This specialized groin shaving kit, Zuckerman, is here to help you buff, protect, and shave your most sensitive areas. Just in time for spring, it's time to crop that bush and get right to the roots with a discount just for you. From Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code SPIKE20. Manscaped.com, code SPIKE20. You get your Lawnmower 4.0. You guys know how I feel about that. The Crop Exfoliator, the Crop Gel, which is like a spa treatment every time you shave. And the Crop Shaver was designed to shave your special place with confidence. 3 precise blades, very close to the instruments that help you procreate. With extra wide lubricating strips. Are you getting turned on yet? And pivoting head.
Yes.
The ultimate groin grooming
Lubricating
experience.
strips.
I'm going to need a shower after reading this ad. The Crop Shaver is not your average razor. It's smaller, thicker, kind of like Johnny's micro penis. Micro comb that allows for the best shave possible for any angle. 20% off free shipping with code SPIKE20, manscaped.com. 20% off free shipping with code SPIKE20 at manscaped.com. My whole house is Manscaped. My wife asked me to stop giving my son James Manscaped branded body wash and shampoo because he walks out after a shower and you're like, man, he smells like a nightclub. It's wild. It's really funny.
We're going to give Richard his first Manscaped shave next year.
Yeah. When is he going to get a haircut?
Never. But I
really? Why?
I don't know. He doesn't want a haircut.
Why is he in charge?
We like it. It's fine. But I use the deodorant. Manscaped deodorant is great because it's small and it fits in your little travel thing perfectly.
It's also got a perfect scent, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
so you don't have to take a shower. You can just throw that stuff on and go out. I do it after I play tennis if I need to do something quick and I don't want to take a shower.
But I shower and then put it on. It's really good.
Then I go down to the cigar store in my sweats
with piss
with piss on my shirt, with mustard in my face, and I go, now what do you think? Sell me some of those Dun Hills. I'm losing my mind.
Black and mild.
There's so much to talk about. We mentioned last week that something happened to Zuckerman's car, that he had a car impounded. We never really talked about it. Then we had the Matt Farah show. Why don't you tell everybody what happened? This is a horrible story.
I'm driving the 190E and being Zuckerman. I don't have to register cars. That's for other people. And so
fair point.
So, and I like taking a risk. I like getting over a little bit. So I haven't registered that 190E, the Evo 2, for 6 months because it's not easy to get a VIN check on this car. The DMV and the CHP do not like the VIN on this car. It's not in the U.S. system at all. It's not in the windshield. So anyway, I figured I'll deal with it another day and I'll just drive it around. And I'm in Beverly Hills, southbound of Robertson at Wilshire. There was a motorcycle cop. He was given a ticket. I passed him by. And as I'm at the light at Wilshire, he gets back on the bike and is right behind me. And so just on the other side, he pulls me over and he wants the registration. And he's really like, RoboCop. He's got his blue blockers on. He's firm and angry, unreasonable.
I'll bet he would say he was just doing his job.
Okay, yes.
He saw an unregistered car go by.
Yeah, okay, firm and angry is really good.
Firm and angry and double-digit IQ. This is
come on now.
Really? Okay, so let me explain.
Well, just tell everybody what happened.
All right. So he says, "Where's the registration?" I said, "I'm working on it." And then he goes, "Well, how do I know this car isn't stolen?" Okay. How do you know? I guess you don't know, but it's not stolen. Here's some paperwork. And then he goes, "Well, I need to, I got to run the VIN number." And of course, he looks at the windshield. There's no VIN plate in the windshield of this car. And he goes, "Is this a ghost car?"
A ghost car, like a ghost gun?
Yes. Like
Is there such a thing?
Well, it's a gray market is what we used to call it, but yeah, ghost car.
He's calling it a ghost car like I made it out of parts in my garage, and so
he can't even make a sandwich.
I'm just going downhill. I go, "You want to see where it is, the VIN plate?" And he goes, I said, "It's on the radiator bracket," and then I show him, and he's looking at me. He goes, "Did you put that there? Who put it there?" The factory. Do you really think my double-digit IQ is inappropriate now? And I said,
well, he's just confused. Many of us haven't seen these things before.
Okay.
I don't really think I had seen a 190 Evo.
Okay, anyway. So I tell him, "Look, my office is right there. My garage is right there." And he says, "I'm impounding it." Thank you.
And this is on a Monday.
This is on Thursday. And so
then
the tow guy comes and he wants to just lift up the front and drive away. I said, "You can't do that. And then RoboCop says to me, "He's a professional." And that's when I got snarky. I said, I said after tow college, he went to 4 years of tow school, and then he had an internship and a residency, and now he's a professional tow guy.
He went to graduate tow school.
Yeah. Do I call him Dr. Tow? Tow Esquire? Dr. Toe. I said, he really looks, no offense to him, but he looks like he slept next to the grease trap. He doesn't look like a professional. Oh, you don't have to be that way.
Dr. Toe?
Yeah.
I think we have the title of the episode.
Yes, Dr. Toe.
Dr. Toe.
And then he says, "You don't need to be that way. You're towing my car, and you want to tell me how to be?" And so then they get in the car on the flatbed.
You don't need to be that way.
Yeah, you don't need to be that way.
So he did let you call a flatbed.
Yeah, they said, well, the tow guy.
No, listen to what he said to the tow guy.
Well, the tow guy says, he goes, I said, okay. I said, you can't tow it that way. And he says, well,
I'm Dr. Tow.
I said, this is a very expensive car. If you damage it, you're responsible. And he goes, well, it'll cost you more for a flatbed. I said, do you think I care? I said, put it on a flatbed. And then, okay.
He can barely contain himself for telling this story.
I'm standing there.
I got a phone call. I heard this whole story.
I know.
I'm standing there, and one of my brethren with the yarmulke comes shambling up and says to me, "Excuse me, is that your car?" The fuck you think I'm doing standing here? What do you think? I'm with the cops. I'm with the. And you want to know who my car? If it's my car, Einstein. What do you? And I said to him, please,
Eisenstein to you.
Yeah, I said, please. I said, please. I don't want to be rude. I just don't want to talk right now. I'm just asking a question. Exactly my point. I don't want to be rude. But it really is your car. Sir, I just got to walk away before I say something nasty to you. And
what did you want to say to him?
What are you fucking? What are you, stupid? What do you got, rocks in your head? You got two eyes? You have two eyes in a brain? Obviously, it's my car. I'm standing here next to it. What do you think I'm doing here? Mm-hmm. You think I'm just another fucking looky-loo like you?
Just get it out.
At the car.
Get it out.
It's getting towed.
You're going to feel better. Get it out. So then now your car
was taken.
Is potentially lost for a month, right?
Well,
it's gone for a month.
It's potentially lost.
I was upset thinking about that beautiful car sitting out after, what's happened to cars we've owned in the past, sitting outside and seeing paint get stained.
Oh, yeah.
In open air here in LA.
It's not, even if it's tip top at Beverly Hills, it's not where you want. You're very low mileage, very exotic car to be.
Right.
And so, fortunately, Mark, amazing Mark, who details, you know him.
Yep.
He details the cars. I called Mark and I said, you got to help me out here. And I said, and he goes, I said, we're not going to be, me and him, these guys aren't going to be talking the same language. So go over there and see. And so he went there, and I think he bought a little lunch or whatever he did.
You're not sure what he did.
We're not sure what he did.
Probably did nothing. Could have bought some lunch.
Who knows?
Dr. Toe needed a sandwich.
Yes.
There might have been an envelope exchanged.
Who knows? But somehow he was behind the impound gate, and he was allowed to wash the car.
That's insane.
And then cover it.
And then how did you? And then you paid your fines and you get out.
Yes.
What does something like that cost?
Actually, it was under $1,000 for the whole thing.
Oh.
And what I was
that's a lot of money.
I was very fortunate because I had somebody
for other folks, not just you.
Yeah, I had somebody who has a registration connection who is able, even with the paperwork condition I had and all of the problems, to get me a temporary registration and a moving permit, and that allowed.
So now you're legal.
I was out by Monday, and I really thought that car.
So that's what you needed to get it out of impound, was the car registered, and
something to indicate
that you were serious and you were going to get it registered.
That it was not a ghost car. It was not this ghost car.
That's still crazy though that the guy got in there to clean it, because like in college my girlfriend's car got stolen and was used in a drive-by, so like it was evidence and it was in a police lot for 3 months, and it came back.
Yeah.
It was total.
It worked out really great for me, and I'm going to say now that this is passed me by, if I ever see the officer, I will thank him for spurring me to take care of this business. That I'm sorry if I was salty and crusty. I'm generally friends with everyone at the Beverly Hills PD, and I should, follow the law better and not expect that I can get away with something like this forever.
Until the next time.
You've been rehearsing this speech in the mirror, haven't you? Yeah.
Well, I just want to sound measured at some degree afterwards.
Wow.
So
we're happy it's back, and it's right over there.
It's right over there.
There it is.
And,
it looks perfect.
And I will have the plates on that car very shortly.
That's great.
Yes.
And then, the Zagato YOM plates.
I've got all of.
I thought the plates on it were registered to the car, and then I remember every once in a while for a year we've just had plates attached to it.
That would be another challenge to get it. But if any listeners in Los Angeles,
but that's not a challenge. No, you can do year of manufacturer plates. But you just have to go in and get
you're in Los Angeles
and tell them.
And you run into a problem with this kind of a very arcane situation.
Are you giving a plug?
I'm just saying they could reach out to me on Instagram, because now that
my God.
Well, it's a particular
You're going to get
problem.
swamped now.
I like to be of service, Ferris.
Especially if you're a young lady between
between the ages of 70 and 90.
You want to keep your car looking as absolutely best as the Evo 190 year-round. 303 Cleaners and Protectants. 303 Revolutionary. These guys turning out to be a huge sponsor of ours.
Sweet.
Revolutionary Graphene Nano Spray Coating gives you professional protection in a simple-to-use spray formula. I used it again. Used it the other night on your blue car, Zuckerman, your 993 Turbo S.
Yes, man.
And boy, does it work well. It will keep your car's paint protected for up to 12 months, give you an insane level of depth and gloss. You can use their brand new 303 graphene detailer to boost protection, slickness, and shine throughout the year. It can even be used for a quick cleanup of light dust, fingerprints in between washes, and Bill's bird tree messes. For the 1-2 punch to keep your car looking its best, look no further than 303's line of graphene products. 303 graphene nano spray coating to protect. 303 graphene detailer to boost protection, slickness, and shine. Both products are available now at Advanced Auto Parts, AutoZone, and select Walmart locations, or visit 303radio.com for more information. Thank you, 303 graphene.
Maybe you can put
people.
the graphene.
They sent me a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, you can use it in combination with Manscaped. You can put the graphene onto your junk.
I would like to boost the depth and gloss of my penis. I'll give it a shot, and we'll see what happens.
See what happens.
Yeah, why
do,
not?
do the man scraping and then spray it on.
I think you manscaped first.
Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Manscraper.
Man scrape and then spray on the caustic material.
Yeah, but
All right, Johnny.
Yes.
You were out at the track, I saw on your social media.
I was.
Working with Jeff Zwart. You were out at Willow Springs.
We were, yeah.
What were you doing? You had the car out there. I noticed it wasn't stickered up yet with the Zuckerman sticker and everything else.
So when it gets shipped to Colorado, Porsche Colorado Springs, the people that are going to wrap it, they are next door, the same parking lot. So it's going 1st of June to Colorado. But yeah, so Jeff invited me along with Reese Millen. He had the Emotion Engineering GT3R, and Jeff had his awesome 935 and another his old Pikes Peak car. And Tanner Faust showed up, which was awesome because Tanner drove my car last year. So he had some really, really, really key pointers for me. And we just took a day and shook the cars down. I got familiar with the car.
Is that what the purpose was at the track? So just take it around the track and learn how it feels.
Yeah.
Right?
So we used Reese. This was Reese's idea, but we used Horse Thief Mile because it has really tight hairpins, which are reminiscent-ish of Pikes. They're not quite as tight as they are on Pikes. So we did most of the day there, and then we finished on Big Willow on the big track because you can get up to for my car 140 miles an hour, and that's faster than I'd go on Pikes. But just to see how it is at high speed, much better at high speeds actually. And yeah, just got familiar and comfortable in the car. I was also first time in my helmet, first time in my Hans device, first time in some new racing boots.
You look really puffy.
Thank you.
No, but I mean, it looked like you had a ton of stuff under that racing suit.
No, I'm
on
just
top
fat.
of it.
That's not the suit I'm wearing either. The suit I'm wearing will have Zuckerman's head on it.
It did not look comfortable.
No, it's fine. It was very comfy. I like racing suits. It's like wearing pajamas when you were 5 years old.
So what did you think? How did you feel in the car?
Super comfortable.
You did feel comfortable.
Yeah, and it was interesting when I turned towards the last couple sessions. I turned everything off, all the traction stability control, and I liked it way better because it's the car just was more free to rotate. And it was great. I mean, look, it's a Cayman GT4, which is a great chassis.
Yeah.
And then they just strip weight out of it and make it stiffer, and it's awesome. It's a great first time race car for me. So I was in heaven. And the other thing was, I'm like, there's Reese Millen in my rearview mirror, and he's got a much faster car. He's 1,000-time better driver. He's eventually going to pass me, but I'm like, I'm going to make him work for it, And so
right.
My imposter syndrome went down a level, and my confidence went up 2 or 3 levels. So it was a wonderful day, and it was cool. I'm sitting there with Zwart and Reese talking about the mountain, as it's called.
And Jeff's going to come on in a couple weeks, and you guys are going to talk before the final race. Is he racing too?
Yeah, he's racing a 935. So I
saw that car. It's beautiful.
Wow.
It's so great. And here's the thing. If you ever see a 935, so this is the one they made a couple years ago. It was the final 99 1.2 generation car. squat down and look at it from behind, because it really, you can see it's a 911 wrapped in a long tail body. Because I was sitting in the Cayman, which is, super low, and I got to, look at the rear of it. It's just absolutely fantastic. I never had my camera and my phone in the car. Should have taken pictures of it, but just like, wow, such a cool car. And and he's racing that, and it was great. It was just like the best birthday I could have hoped for. It was awesome.
How old are you, Lieberman?
47. Wow. So I get a colonoscopy for my birthday.
Enjoy your last birthday.
Yeah.
Before the race.
He died at the
we have
young
questions
age of 47.
to get to, but I wanted to mention a couple of things, a couple of stories that are in the news. California is targeting loud exhaust with sound-activated camera enforcement. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, but they're going to really get that right.
6 California cities will take part in the automated enforcement pilot program aimed at curbing noise pollution. In an effort to reduce noise pollution, California is set to implement the camera automated exhaust noise enforcement. This will start January 2023 to December 2027. This is the pilot program. It goes 4 years and will be tested in 6 California cities. I believe it's LA. Camera enforced fines will be issued only after subsequent violations of the 95 and 80 decibel ceiling for cars and motorcycles, respectively.
80?
Yeah, so for 95 for cars and 80 decibels for motorcycles. So I think what this means, if I'm not wrong, is any place where there's a red light camera, if you're blasting through that and you're making noise, you get a ticket? Does that sound right?
I'd have to take a look at it, and I would guarantee they don't have the technology. This is going to be a money pit. They don't have the technology and the wherewithal to get this system working. And I would agree, though, 95 decibels is really loud.
Yeah, it's pretty
But how do you prove it's that car? If there are 2 cars in the frame, how do you prove it's that?
It's the stupid system. It's going to be one of these other things that they put in for tens of millions of dollars that they end up dismantling.
And this is because somebody approaches the city and says, "Hey, I have this, like red light cameras. I have this great tech. It'll make you a fortune," and then you're just screwing your citizens. And it never works for
and by the
then
way,
a judge will throw it all out.
And I mean, these aftermarket exhaust shops will always exist, but generally manufacturers are lessening sound. And as we go more electric, the problem cures itself, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but old cars exist. But the other thing is all modern cars that are loud, they have 2 modes, right? So you can start it up quietly, and then you put it in sport mode, and then you have extra exhaust baffles that open up. So
here, explain this to me, Zuckerman. And if you can, quickly explain it. I know it's complicated, but every time you talk to someone who gets one of these red light tickets, they say they don't do that anymore. They're not legal anymore in the state of California or in the city of LA. Yet they still exist. And yet I've been told by lawyers you still have to pay the fine.
But you don't get a moving violation. So
what is that?
It's kind of a conundrum.
So let's say I run a red light on the way home in Beverly Hills, and it says you have 90 days to pay this ticket, guilty plea. And then, some people say, well, just don't pay it. Just never pay it. Go the distance. There's nothing they can do. They turn it over to a collection agency, and then you can just ignore them.
And that is true.
It is true.
It is true, but most people don't want to go to collection, and most people don't want to hassle with it, and they don't pay it. Now,
why wouldn't they just shutter the whole program? Why do they keep it going?
Because it still generates money, even though it doesn't stand as a moving violation. So
when you say it doesn't stand as a moving violation, so I plead guilty, I'm not going to get anything on my insurance?
Nope. You're not.
What about if it goes to collection? Does that hit your credit?
I don't believe so, because it's not a contractual debt. I would argue that. I would also tell you that one time I actually showed up in court with one of these tickets because somebody else was in my car. And the ticket said, if it's not you, you can give the person's name and information so we can bill them. And I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not their I'm not deputized to be a rat.
I'm not a narc. Yeah.
And so I went down. It was Beverly Hills, so I went down to the courthouse, and the judge said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, it's not me, obviously, but I'm not saying who it is. It's not my job."
Yeah.
And he threw the ticket out.
Of course.
Nobody had to pay anything.
Yeah, I've gotten out of them before. But I've also sent a lawyer in, the Culver City guys, and they said you don't get out in Culver City, and I had to pay that one.
I took,
and that was a slow roll right on red. That's all that was.
One of the lawyers in my office who was in my car, he got a camera ticket in a park. At one of the state parks.
Yeah.
And he had got some very weird camera ticket came in that said, one. You don't have to, this is, you just owe us, and if you don't pay, we're going to send it to collection.
Right.
Well, that's toothless.
And they also are very tricky. They have those in a lot of the hiking trails.
Yes,
you won't even see the sign. You'll just see this tiny little thing that says, make sure you stop or you're going to get a ticket. And then before you know it,
that's exactly what happened to him.
There's one on Beverly going, it's really annoying.
My opinion to him was, ball this up and throw it in the trash. They're citing some sort of weird Muni Park codes as their basis for giving out these tickets.
Yeah, we don't want this stuff to start, because this leads to speeding cameras, and then what fun is LA going to be with all that?
We can't break the rules.
We just like to drive. And if you like to drive, go to collectingcars.com. They have a 2006 Ferrari F430 Spider manual. Closing for bids May 19th. Awesome Ferrari. This is an original Canadian market car, which has been driven sparingly, and the odometer only shows 11,320 miles. The car is specified from factory in Rosso Corsa. Beautiful car. What else do they have? A 1976 Ford Bronco Custom without doors. When Jensen Button's Bronco sold on Collecting Cars, it went for huge money, $166,000. For someone who wants an equally cool retro truck but doesn't care about provenance, or that Jensen Button's butt was in the driver's seat, this could be the perfect Bronco 302. Small block V8, fully restored 4,000 miles ago. I was on there when I was prepping for the show. They had a 2022 992 GTS, brand new, delivery miles and chalk. Want a 992? Nice new one, perfect thing.
Nice car. Nice.
They have one at Collected Cars. They have a 2008 Renault Sport McGain R26 F1 track prepped thing. They had a 2004 Ducati 998S Final Edition, British market, right-hand drive motorcycle, and a 1960 Alpha 2000 Touring Spider. Ratio graphite with cream material. No one's going to push back on the right-hand drive motorcycle? Nobody?
I wasn't listening.
I don't know what a motorcycle is.
Why would I listen to you?
Well, it's a British bike, so it's right-hand drive.
That's
But Zuckerman, if you go look at this 1960 Alfa Romeo 2000 Touring Spider, Grigio graphite with cream, graphite. It's
Graphene.
not. It's GRAFITE.
Graphene.
This car is gorgeous. In fact, don't go look at it, because if you look at it, you're going to end up.
I'm all caught up.
You'll freak out. Go check it out. CollectingCars.com. All right, we have a few minutes for questions here, and as usual, our listeners have outdone themselves with irrelevant questions for us to answer. Let me just go to the giant Zuckerman head, and we will answer them. What's Minimax Pugs? What's your plan for Monterey Car Week? I am doing a forum up there. The plan for it, I don't know. It could be the three of us. It could be any of our hosts. It could be somebody new. I haven't had a chance to plan it, but I know I'm excited to come up there again.
Are you done with the film by then?
I think so, yeah. Huh? I think we wrap shooting at the end of July. Knock on wood. That is if Farrah doesn't infect everybody. And then
bring down Netflix.
We'll have a little car fun.
Farrah destroys Netflix.
Sunroof Delete wants to know thoughts on the rooftop car tent 9/11 proliferation.
Stupid.
That's a funny question.
Oh,
it just means people are putting tents
camping.
on 9/11.
I'm done with tents on roofs. Sleep in a hotel.
Yeah,
I would imagine because I wanted to get one for the Defender, but I've yet to get the canoe on the rack. So.
Yeah, exactly.
The tent.
I think what you want is a nice picture of a tent, and you look at that and you say, that could be me.
I think so.
It's aspirational, not really practical.
Hey, Sam Vaitmas wants to know what's going on with the Daytona, Zuckerman. Where is it?
I am
Good
told
question.
by Mr. Bruce Canepa that they're working on the engine. And so one would hope... Bruce said something along the lines of 60 days. If that means less than a year, I'll be happy.
Soon.
Could be.
Do you plan to keep it?
I don't know. I've got to drive it. I got to see how I like it. I got to see if somehow, if a big offer comes in for a freshly restored. It's hard to say, but I know it's going to be gorgeous.
Yeah. Hard not to be.
Johnny.
Yes.
What cars do you advise people don't buy and avoid? Says Mr. Mateo. Mr. Mateo 88.
God, I mean, what category?
What do you tell them to avoid?
I mean, I get a lot of like, should I buy a Prius? And I'm like, no, don't buy a Prius. I would say right now, like, avoid the Bronco, the Ford Bronco, because everyone who has one, they're just like very underwhelmed by it.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Except for Titus Welliver, who thinks it's the best car ever made.
Have you been watching the new Bosch Legacy?
Hell yes, I watched all 4 episodes.
It's great.
It's so good. Yeah, it's so good.
I'm so excited about it.
There's that Mitsubishi SUV, which has a very low price for the size and features, and that's a very, very bad car to drive. I don't know. You'd have to go like segment by segment, but there's plenty of cars not to buy.
Spike Africa.
I see the waves
Thoughts
down in Africa.
On the Swatch Moonwatch. Well, I've been on every night looking
And
on eBay, just waiting, checking out the mission to Jupiter, checking out the mission to Mercury.
can't you buy them at Swatch.com yet for list? Isn't that the whole thing?
You can't. They are not limited. But I was doing a little research, reading online. I found a great article on what's happening right now with these watches. They are still super desirable. The prices range. I've seen them as high as $3,000 and $4,000 still. Why aren't Moon Swatch watches offered online yet in this article? In augustman.com. So who knows if it's a real interview. Speaking with August Man on condition of anonymity, we understand the Moon Swatches were put online briefly before the order button was grayed out because Swatch Group had detected unusually high traffic to the pages carrying each mission Moon Swatch. While that in and of itself is not unusual for a hype timepiece, what usually tips IT professionals off is the rapidity of operations and the clinical way in which operations were carried out. Typically, a human being lingers around specific sections of a page before making an operation, whether it's clicking buy or going to another product. It's really interesting. Why are there no official communications on restock schedules? Listen to this. Store staff had also discovered that networks of enterprising individuals were forming and taking note of when identifiable staff had arrived in a Swatch store, which would denote a restock of the Moon Swatch.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
These individuals would then communicate with their group of buyers to bring people in order to circumvent the one watch per person sales policy that the company had put in place to deter flippers and resellers who are now on eBay and who I'm about to give money to. Now that this policy was being circumvented, 2 steps were instituted. Restock schedules became vague to avoid tipping off the unscrupulous group of buyers. Unable to properly discern between genuine buyers and opportunists, Swatch now does silent drops. And if you happen to be a watch lover who pops into the store at the right time, you're in luck. Can you imagine all this is going on?
There was a point when, like, you could get a real Moon watch, an actual Omega, for less than the plastic fake Swatch one.
It's true.
So, and you're saying there's still $3,000, so you can find.
No, the one I was hovering over last night was $500 or $600. But I think
double.
they're $279, right?
They're supposed to be $275, and they're online, and you can buy them all day and night. That's the idea,
right?
They should be on Amazon by now. It's just a Swatch,
right?
So it's crazy. The hype is crazy.
Loyal Footwear wants to know, as a shoemaker and footwear designer, I'm curious what all your favorite shoes are to drive in. Do you have driving shoes, or
I wear
shoes
Vans?
You like Vans? Zuckerman? Nothing to drive?
No.
I wear the Clay. I'm wearing Clay vegan sneakers. I like those. They're a new brand. I guess I'm one of their ambassadors, and they've been sending me some cool stuff. I also have these Adidas Rod Lavers.
Those are
which
nice.
are simple, really comfy shoe. I don't know that I wear them to drive. I just wear them because I like to wear them. I want to avoid that one. Are you guys coming to Goodwood? Like to? Not? Are you going?
It's during Pikes Peak. I won't be there. It's like June 22nd, and I get the Pikes on the 19th.
Is it just me, or does Spike's impression of Jerry sound like Jerry if he were a frightened chicken? Says, where does Paul do? Yes. Dana Carvey, who is the king of impressionists, and I am not an impressionist, but he did teach me. I was able to observe him. He said, find little things that the person you want to impersonate does, and then exaggerate them like times 10. Find the little look, or the little flick of the hair, or the voice, and yeah, Jerry doesn't talk like that, but he talks occasionally like that. You go like that, and cock-a-doodle-doo. And
your Jerry and Leno are particularly good. Your Leno because you have the material. You have the material. That's what's good about
Well, it's now getting to hear Jay. He comes and he hangs with us every Sunday, and you hear him talk, quietly and normally.
Yeah.
There's a different guy there.
Yeah, but he does. You did something. He does that thing where he'll go like, I was doing the show. Letterman was more edgy, but I had more viewers. And you did that. Then he said that to me like the next day.
But that's a skill set writers have.
Yeah.
Like, we're always having to write voices for people and made up people. So you have this very strong imagination muscle when it comes to, how people talk. And a lot of times when you're working on a character, you have to think about someone you know. Yeah, starting point. You go, well, I've got this kind of weirdo, angry guy. Why don't I model him after Zuckerman? Maybe he talks like that. And then you work, so you get his voice down and do it. But
yeah, it was just
it's all I can do. Yeah, I can't do anything else.
Leno.
So you can do Leno. You can do some Letterman.
No, I can do a lot of impressions. Not now on the spot, but I can kind of do them, and I don't know I know them, but I kind of hear the voices in my head. That's what writers have to do. So you have to kind of conjure up, these different characters you hear. But then you get stuck. I've said it before. After writing for Dave, I talked like Dave for at least 3 years after that. Right? If you ever watch my late night show, you'd hear Dave's voice.
Right.
I was around my friend Louis C.K. for a long time, and I started talking like him, talk like Jerry. Now I'm back doing. We obviously we're writing for him right now, and you do his voice, and you get stuck in it. And I do you a lot too, Zuckerman.
Around the house.
I haven't done Lieberman, but I'm always doing Zuckerman.
I do Zuckerman whenever I'm like at the supermarket and I'm just so annoyed with like all of humanity. I do Zuckerman in my head. It helps me out.
Everybody's angry voice.
You should die.
We'd love to hear about Zuckerman's new 993. Which one?
The cab.
He's got two.
No, the convertible you posted.
Well, the Revelation's the 993 Cabriolet that we acquired from our friend Paul Kramer at Auto Kennel.
It's Cars for Dogs.
Cars for Dogs, yes.
The Kennel.
But it's a one-owner 95 993 C2 Cabriolet in black metallic, which in the sun you'll see like a little copper fleck in it.
Oh, there it is right there.
And I have to tell you, I never really thought about that a narrow body C2, particularly a Cabriolet, would be a valid car. That's kind of dumb because the C2S is the same as a C2 with just a wide body. There's no difference. There was no difference in price. Anyway, getting in this car, it is so light, so simple, so practical. It does, at this juncture, it feels like an early 911.
Right.
But it's got air conditioning that works. It's got a power top. It's got, it's got mod cons, early version mod cons. But the engine is so great. It's so responsive. And it's just a pleasure to drive. It handles well. It's got excellent rigidity. I drove it on Sunset for a little while last night, and it was fantastic. Fantastic.
Wow.
I'm all over it. I tell everybody it's another Overlook classic. Like we stumbled on.
Well, now here we go again. No, they're all going to get bought up.
Yeah, we stumbled on to SCs, early '80s SCs, and we love those.
Are you sure? It feels like everything is now deflating.
Oh well, the last month, but yeah, every Porsche goes up though.
Until they go down.
Until we crater, we'll see. Good thing I don't have nothing in the stock market. I haven't lost to any of my portfolio. That's because I don't have any.
What about your crypto portfolio? Did you lose that?
I just laugh about crypto. See, it never made sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm sure people tell me I'm stupid. I should have bought crypto. But it doesn't make sense to me.
What about NFTs?
And another thing that doesn't make sense to me.
It's very enjoyable to watch those things evaporate. I really am enjoying people realizing that they were nothing. Especially the NFT.
I love people getting
digital
fleeced.
image. What?
Yeah.
You own a tweet?
Yeah.
Huh? And now you're realizing it's not worth $10 million now, right now?
There's no shortcut to money unless you're born into it, right? Unless you're very fucking fortunate. Otherwise, you just got to make your money like the rest of us. Hard work.
Yeah.
All right.
Stamina.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
But, investing's a good thing, too.
One should invest.
We're going down a little bit. It'll go back up.
I know.
I'm looking for just one last good question here from you guys. How about this one? It's really not a car question, but it could produce some fun. Sutho Cam. Why don't people have normal names? Why can't they just have a normal name? I need Zuckerman's dating tips.
Oh,
there you
God.
go. We're going to end the show on Zuckerman's dating tips. Go ahead, Zuckerman. What are your dating tips for the young man named Sutho Cam? His name is Cameron. And this is what his profile says. I just want to hold the Snoopy balloon at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Okay, well, my friend, I'm sure you're a nice guy.
Cameron,
I'm sure you're a nice guy, but that tagline has to... I'm no expert on dating, but I don't think a girl wants to date a guy that wants to hold a Snoopy balloon at the parade. So let's start with that. My other advice to you is just walk up to a girl and introduce yourself with a name that's pronounceable. Say hello. My name is so-and-so.
Cameron.
What's your name? Can we get a cup of coffee? That's all you got to do.
You go up and you say, hi, my name's Cameron. Should he say Cameron or Cam?
Hey, either.
Huh?
Not Cam.
Hi, my name is Cam. I saw you. I'd like to introduce myself. And you know what? If you want to be disarming, you should say the truth, which is, I'm really bad at this, but I'd like to take you out for a cup of coffee.
That's a good tip.
So just own it. Be authentic and say, my name is Cam. I don't know how to do this, but I want to have coffee with you.
Now, is this something that a young Zuckerman did, or is this something you wish a young Zuckerman would have done?
This is my observation as an old man, because I had all these hang-ups, like how do you talk to a girl when I was young? What do you say? And, they seemed like, these exotic animals when I was 20 years old. I didn't know what to say. And now I realize they don't know what to say. They're just waiting for someone to come up and say hello and buy them a cup of coffee.
This happened to my wife recently in the Ralphs.
Some guy moved in on you?
That exact line.
My name's Zuckerman.
What did he say?
And I said, well, we've been married for quite some time. So when something like that happens, it's actually a reason to celebrate. It helps self-esteem. Neither of us would be threatened by it. But
Right.
I go,
you don't think you can offload her?
I go, that's nice. That's nice that happened to you. I go, where? She goes, yeah, that's the bad part. It was in Ralph's. And I go, and the guy, she goes, he looked like a bike messenger. And I went, oh, yeah. He was wearing a motorcycle helmet inside. I go, that's weird, man. Now this is weird.
Could have a
My
head
favorite
injury.
Martian.
I go, well, that still feel good about yourself.
Take your flattery where you can get it.
Take your flattery where you can get it, right. But,
one of these days on our last show, we should do like the actual Zuckerman one-liners we've heard that we can't say on the radio.
Zuckerman's one-liners?
Oh,
do you think
man.
he has one-liners?
Oh, well,
I've never heard his one-liners.
I have comments.
He's out of practice.
I have atrocious comments is what he's...
He's a long married... How long have you been married? How many years?
In terms of just my comments. I think he's saying not pickup lines.
Yeah.
I've been married for 26 years.
26? Wow.
25?
Good Lord.
25, yeah.
How long does it feel?
Forever. Come on, Donnie. You knew I'd say that. I remember my father-in-law, at I think the 50th anniversary, he was screaming something about 50 years, it's unnatural. Why are we together?
It is the most unnatural arrangement that we all do. I've been married 21 years.
I'm coming up on 12. A couple weeks.
Wow, that's a long time. Look at this group.
Yeah.
Here's another bet.
Yeah. My money's on
bet.
Lieberman.
And then the ultimate bet.
Buddy,
Who dies first?
Oh, who dies? Well, you guys are like 11 years older than me. Now you're 10 years older.
Zuckerman.
I know who my money's on.
Who's it on?
I'm not going to say. But it's not me or you.
Let me get through Pikes and then we'll. Yeah.
You're going first, Lieberman.
Nah.
Yeah.
No.
Your due date's coming. The
Only
book's
one
due.
of us is driving near a cliff.
Yeah.
Johnny.
It's time for you to return it to the library. That's your life, my friend.
I'll be near a cliff tomorrow.
Due date is up.
Your due date's up. Back to the library for you.
Oh, my Lord. Well, that's our show.
That's it.
We have lived.
Dr. Toe and Johnny Stein.
Dr. Toe.
Dr. Toe, I hope you've enjoyed this special episode of Spike's Car Radio. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio, brought to you by Hangar 56. Listen to new episodes every Wednesday, and be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.